Imagine this. A letter lands on your desk. It's not an ordinary letter. The paper feels heavy, almost ominous. You open it, and your blood runs cold. Inside there are no friendly words. Instead, a collection of bizarre symbols stares back at you. This isn't a prank. This is a message from someone who wants to instill terror. This was the reality for investigators and journalists in the late 1960s. The Zodiac Killer had arrived, and he brought with him a new kind of fear, one that was deeply personal and chillingly intelligent. He wasn't just a killer, he was a puppeteer, pulling strings with his cryptic notes. The Zodiac Killer's reign of terror gripped Northern California. He didn't just commit brutal, senseless murders, he craved attention, he demanded it. His letters to newspapers were his stage, he boasted about his crimes, he threatened more violence. And he sent ciphers, complex puzzles that promised to reveal his identity. The public was terrified. They were also fascinated. Who was this man who could kill so callously and then challenge the brightest minds with his codes? The pressure on law enforcement was immense. Every new letter, every new symbol deepened the mystery and the dread that hung over the communities. The Zodiac wasn't just attacking individuals, he was attacking society's sense of safety and order. The Zodiac Killer didn't just send one cipher, he sent several. Each one was a new challenge, a fresh piece of his twisted puzzle. The first and most famous for a long time was the Z408 Cipher. It arrived in 3 parts, sent to 3 different newspapers in July 1969. It contained 408 symbols. The Zodiac demanded they be published, or he would kill again. This cipher was cracked relatively quickly, within about a week. A schoolteacher, Donald Hardin, and his wife Betty managed to solve it. Its message was chilling, a taunt about enjoying killing people because it was so much fun. Then came the Z340. This cipher, containing 340 characters, was sent in a letter to the San Francisco Chronicle in November 1969. This one proved to be a much tougher nut to crack. For over 50 years it remained unsolved, a silent testament to the Zodiac's cunning or perhaps his chaotic mind. Its complexity baffled experts and amateur sleuths alike. It became legendary in cryptographic circles, a Mount Everest for codebreakers. Beyond these 2 major ciphers, there were shorter, more enigmatic ones. Each cipher had its own personality, its own set of challenges. The Z340 Cipher stood as an unsolved challenge for 51 long years. Why was it so incredibly difficult to crack? Part of the answer lies in its construction. Unlike the Z408, which was a relatively straightforward homophonic substitution cipher, the Z340 appeared to use more complex cryptographic techniques. The Zodiac seemed to have learned from the quick cracking of his first major cipher. He likely introduced new rules, new ways of transposing or obscuring the letters. This meant that standard frequency analysis, a common code-breaking tool, was much less effective. The patterns were hidden, deliberately tangled by the cipher's creator. The Zodiac was also engaged in psychological warfare. He knew investigators and the public were desperate for answers. He might have intentionally made the Z340 incredibly complex or even flawed, just to frustrate and mislead. There was always the possibility that the cipher was gibberish, a cruel joke. Or perhaps it contained errors, either accidental or intentional, that made a clean decryption impossible. This uncertainty plagued codebreakers. The breakthrough for Z340 didn't come from a single government agency or a lone genius. It came from a dedicated team of private citizens, enthusiasts bound by a shared passion for solving one of history's most infamous puzzles. This team included David Oranchack, an American software developer and web designer, Sam Blake, an Australian mathematician, and Jarl van Eycke, a Belgian warehouse operator and computer programmer. These individuals, separated by thousands of miles, collaborated remotely. They brought diverse skills and perspectives to the table, united by the internet and a common goal, to finally unlock the secrets of the Z340. David Oranchack had been fascinated by the Zodiac ciphers for years. He ran a website dedicated to the Zodiac codes and had been working on various approaches to crack them since 2006. His persistence was remarkable. He meticulously documented his attempts, shared his findings, and engaged with the wider community of Zodiac researchers and amateur sleuths. Sam Blake brought his mathematical expertise, crucial for understanding the potential structures and patterns within the cipher. Jarl van Eycke contributed his powerful programming skills, developing software capable of running complex decryption algorithms and testing countless possibilities much faster than ever before. The method behind the breakthrough was, well, quite fascinating. The team's success in cracking the Z340 cipher relied on human ingenuity, sophisticated software, and a deep understanding of cryptographic principles. Jarl van Eycke developed custom code-breaking software called AZdecrypt. This program was designed to tackle ciphers like those used by the Zodiac. It tested numerous decryption keys and patterns rapidly. The software explored unusual reading directions and symbol manipulations. A key breakthrough came with diagonal reading patterns. Most simple ciphers are read horizontally or vertically, but the Z340 was constructed differently. The team used AZdecrypt to explore transposition possibilities. The software sifted through numerous transposition possibilities. They hypothesized the Zodiac wrote his message, then read the symbols in a specific way. The process involved identifying potential keywords or phrases, words like kill, die, or references to his previous communications. The software looked for these fragments after applying various decryption schemes. After 51 years of silence, the Z340 finally spoke. The decrypted message, confirmed by the FBI in December 2020, was another chilling communication from the Zodiac Killer. It read, in part, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show." The message continued with more of his characteristic misspellings and twisted ideology. The reference to the TV show likely alluded to an incident in October 1969. The caller famously said, "I'm sick, I don't want to go to the gas chamber." The Z340 message refutes this, claiming the caller wasn't him. This was typical Zodiac behavior, controlling the narrative and reinforcing his terrifying persona. The message provided a glimpse into his mindset in late 1969. However, the decrypted message did not reveal the Zodiac's name. This was a disappointment to many who had hoped Z340 held the key to his identity. The Z340 message was more of the same taunting and self-aggrandizement seen in his earlier communications. One of the most persistent questions surrounding the Zodiac ciphers is whether they actually contain the killer's name. While the Z340 did not, the much shorter Z13 cipher, which begins with "my name is still seen by many as the best hope for such a revelation. However, its brevity makes it incredibly difficult to solve definitively. Any proposed solution is hard to verify without more context or a clear key. It's possible the Zodiac never intended to reveal his name in any cipher, using them purely for taunting and creating mystery. The idea that a cipher contained his name is more of a hopeful assumption than a certainty. Another common misconception is that cracking the ciphers would automatically lead to the Zodiac's capture. While a name would be a massive lead, the ciphers themselves, as seen with Z408 and Z340, mostly contained boasts, threats, and ramblings. They provided insights into his psychology but few actionable forensic clues. If the story of the Zodiac ciphers has sparked your interest in code breaking, there are many ways to get started. First, familiarize yourself with the classics. Learn about historical ciphers like the Caesar cipher, substitution ciphers, vigenere ciphers, and transposition ciphers. Understanding these foundational techniques will give you a solid base. Many books and online resources offer excellent introductions to classical cryptography. Knowing how codes were made in the past helps you understand how they can be broken, even the more complex ones. This historical knowledge is invaluable. Next, embrace modern tools, but don't rely on them exclusively. Software like Cryptool or various online cipher solvers can be incredibly helpful for analyzing texts and testing hypotheses. Learning basic programming skills, perhaps in Python, can also be a huge advantage. You can write your own scripts to automate repetitive tasks or test unique theories, much like Jarl van Eycke did with AZdecrypt. However, remember that tools are only as good as the mind using them. The Zodiac Killer's ciphers have left an indelible mark, not just on the grim history of true crime, but also on the world of cryptography. They stand as a stark reminder of how such puzzles can capture the public imagination and challenge human intellect for decades. The Z340 in particular became a legendary unsolved problem, a cryptographic Everest that drew in experts and amateurs alike. Its eventual solution wasn't just a footnote in a cold case, it was a triumph of collaborative human ingenuity and the relentless march of technological advancement. It showed that even the most daunting codes can eventually yield their secrets. The cracking of Z340 beautifully illustrates the interplay between human intuition and modern technology. While sophisticated software like AZdecrypt was essential for testing countless possibilities at high speed, the underlying theories, the creative leaps about potential transposition methods, and the sheer determination came from human minds. David Oranchack, Sam Blake, and Jarl van Eycke brought their unique skills and unwavering dedication to the task. This synergy is the future of tackling many complex problems, not just in cryptography, but in various fields of research and investigation. Technology amplifies human capability. The legacy of these ciphers also includes the inspiration they've provided. For many, the Zodiac codes were their first introduction to the fascinating world of cryptography. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the Zodiac cipher. If you enjoyed unraveling this mystery with us, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment with your thoughts or any theories you might have. Stay tuned for more intriguing stories and unsolved mysteries.